Have you ever wondered what living your true, authentic life would be like? And doing so fearlessly, undeniably, and unapologetically? Is such a way of life even possible? My answer is yes, it is. Welcome to my podcast, From Fearful to Fierce. My name is Sarah Odo Grossfatner, and I will be using this space to share simple, easy to implement tips on how to become the best version of yourself by living authentically, unapologetically, undeniably, and fearlessly. From Fearful to Fierce is based on my FFTF trilogy, which is available on Amazon, by the way. A series on the importance of knowing, accepting, and loving one's self. So, whether you are struggling with imposter syndrome, self doubt, or just looking to level up your confidence again, this podcast has got you covered. So, get ready to take on the world one fearless step at a time as this podcast unravels and tackles some of the issues that prevents us from becoming the best version of ourselves. Once again, I'm your host, Sarah Odo Grossfather. Be relevant. That's the topic of my share today. Back in 2020, at the beginning of the COVID crisis, when no one knew what was going to be what, I had an idea to empower my brother's children back in Nigeria with skills. They had just finished their school for the term. The long vacation was coming. And because of COVID, no one knew what was going to happen at the end of vacation. My brother has 4 children, 2 twin boys who were 14 at the time, a girl who was 12 at the time, and the last boy who was 9 years old at the time. Anyway, I had this idea, and then I called my brother and I told him to get the kids together, that I wanted to speak to the entire family later that evening. My brother was really surprised and very happy, but my nephews and niece were even more excited. I told them all to think about what they wanted to do, and that I will call back a few days later, because I'm very aware that someone can only give their very best when they are doing something that they love. When I called back a few days later, the one of the twin boys told me that he had always loved to learn how to sew, so he wanted to learn how to sew, to design clothes. The girl said she wanted to learn to do hair and pedicure and manicure and all of the beauty things that come with making a woman pretty. The other one, the second twin, said he wanted to learn how to cook. He wanted to go to catering school. I was quite surprised about that, but I should not have been, because I come from a family of food lovers. My father was a great foodie, so I was quite happy that he had picked that up. And the youngest one, the 9-year-old, said, "Auntie, I want to learn how to play piano." Apparently, he had seen how the pianist play in church, and he said he wanted to learn to play the piano so that he could play for the church, at least in the children's section. Anyway, so I sent the father out again. I said, well, go out and look for where they can learn to do all of this, the schools or the training institutes. We were able to find a place for the one who wanted to design clothes, to learn how to sew. Same for the girl who wanted to learn how to do manicure and pedicure and all the nails and hair, as well as the little one who wanted to learn how to play the piano. Unfortunately for the second twin, the catering school said that he could not train as a part-timer, because the idea was that even when they resume school, I wanted them to go to their training places at least 2 hours a day after school. Because I didn't want the other three to start and the second boy to be at home while the others were out training, I asked him what else he would like to do, since he could not go to catering school at that time. And he said, Auntie, well, I don't know how to handle the computer and all that very well, the skills. I would really love to learn how to do that. So what I did was I sent him to a kind of like copy shop where they could teach him, or where he would learn how to, not only how to operate the computer very well, he would learn how to copy and to scan. And the kids started. And for some of them, their training was for about a year and a half. For almost 2 years down the road, they all came out. The little boy now could play the piano. In fact, he started to play the piano 3 months rather into his training. He began to play for the church, or in church, as his wish was. And then the one for the hair also graduated, and the boy who wanted to design, the one who wanted to design, graduated, as well as the mini publishing school. Last year, when the twin turned about 17, they finished their high school. And I guess the other one thought I'd forgotten, but I hadn't forgotten, because I realized his first choice was his first choice. He wanted to go to catering school. So I called him and I said, are you ready now to go to catering school? He was really excited. He was like, Auntie, are you sure you want to send me that as well? I said, yes, of course. That was your first choice. So again, we went out, and to cut a long story short, I sent the money and enrolled him in the catering school. And just last week, I received an excited text from him. Auntie, I've graduated. I'm done with my catering school. Let's put a pause to that story. We'll come back to it. Now, it is no secret that Nigeria has a high unemployment rate. Currently, it is pegged at 41%, according to KPMG, a renowned firm that provides auditing, advisory, and tax services. 41%. That is worrying, especially when you factor in the fact that approximately 60% of the entire population is made up of young people. Now, we say that, or we always say that the young people or the youth are the leaders of tomorrow. What kind of leadership will Nigerian youth provide for our tomorrow if they are not able to meet the very basic of their needs today, if they don't have a job to meet very basic needs? And let's not forget that Nigeria is made up of, the population of Nigeria is about, maybe let's call it 210 million, because a few years back it was pegged again at 200 million. So when you talk 41% of, let's say, 210 million, you're saying almost half the population of the entire country, almost 100 million people are out of work or unemployed. Now, Nigeria is not the only country suffering this trend, this situation. In fact, in the world over, the problem of employment has become almost like the mythical 7 heads or snake heads of Medusa of the Greek mythology, where one head was replaced by 7 more the minute one was cut off. Unemployment is a bit like that in most countries. The minute you think you have dealt with it, something else happens in your policies, and suddenly you're back to square one. As with every place the world over, students who go to school expect to find a job that will make them relevant or contributing members of their community when they are done. This is, of course, the case in Nigeria. Unfortunately, unemployment has squandered this dream for most young people. Most who graduate, even when they graduated with honors, have found that their well-earned certificates might as well be a bunch of tissue papers for all the good it is doing them or it has done them. For most of them, the road of their life journey suddenly has come to a full dead end. stop. In the process, they themselves have become frustrated, certainly, and depressed with seemingly no end or solution in sight. So, this was the idea, this was the thought that was running around my mind when I embarked on empowering my nephews and niece with skills, autonomous skills. As we all know, autonomy means, of course, independence or independent. So autonomous skills are skills that you can use without needing rather a big company to directly employ you. For example, you can barb for your friends, you can barb hair for your neighbors, even your entire community. You can just, as long as you have a barbing machine, you can even just walk around and looking for people who need your services, and you'll be sure to at least at the end of the day, you'll be able to get some pocket money. Of course, it will not make you a millionaire immediately, but at least you'll be able, it will allow you to meet your basic needs. Why is getting autonomous skill or skills necessary? Well, as I said, firstly, besides allowing you to earn a living, even in the midst of the worst unemployment atmosphere, it makes you relevant. A person who is relevant is empowered. An empowered person is already well on their way to becoming a beautiful version of themselves. This is what this podcast is about. After all, becoming the best version of yourself, or tips on how to become the best version of yourself. This post is particularly relevant or important for parents and guardians of young people. Whatever you do, please make your children relevant. Train them to have autonomous skills. Even if you want them to be doctors, lawyers, engineers, or whatever, because, let's face it, African parents just love these kinds of careers. They want their children to be doctors, lawyers. If they had their way, all their children would be doctors, lawyers, and engineers. Anyway, even if they turn out to be doctors and engineers, having these skills will still empower them. You need to still empower them with autonomous skills. Send them to learn tailoring jobs, carpentry jobs, plumbing, barbing, cake making, cake designing, interior designing, cushion making, electrical wiring, cooking, manicure, pedicure, training. The list is endless. You will find this to be so when you begin to look. When your child is autonomously skilled, you will never have to worry about any unemployment situation, whether or not your kids can get a job or take care of themselves, because they will be able to take care of themselves in any situation. Ultimately, isn't that what we all want for our children? Besides, as a parent or parents, when your child or children are relevant and empowered, you yourself will also feel relevant and empowered. Thank you for tuning in. Once again, this is From Fearful to Fierce by Sarah Udo Grosswagner. Until next time, keep striving to become the best version of yourself. Live intentionally, be unapologetic, be bold, be fearless. Before I forget, don't forget to subscribe to my podcast, like the different episodes, and press the notification button so that when I bring out new episodes, you'll be notified. Thank you very much. Until next time.